introduce you to a system that I've been using since 1993 in my own life for my own family, and then I've taught literally thousands of other advisors to do it. I was a national trainer for Leap Systems years ago for about 10 to 12 years. And last week I kicked off their master series for how to be a master in the industry. My practice, when I was practice, my top income was over $5 million annually, many years of earning $1 million a year. And what I learned, by the way, I didn't come from money. I didn't hang out with a lot of wealthy people. I had to learn how to do this. And when I learned that this was a formula, if I could follow the formula, if I could follow the recipe, then I should be able to do what someone else was able to do prior to me. And because this is all transferable, if you put in the time, the effort to learn like I have learned, like others have learned, like Ryan has learned, like my son Brock has learned, then you can have similar results. Doesn't matter where your income is today. If you're already earning $1 million, congratulations, that's unique, but we can probably get you to 5 or 10. That's happened many times in our practice. So I'm going to introduce you now to a model. I'm going to try to use some technology here, a camera. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going technology with the camera, but I'm going old school in what I'm about to present. I'm going to use an overhead camera. Show you the back of my desk. There's, that's not really what you want to see. There we go.
Well done.
Thank you. So far, so good. All right. The model that's in front of you is called the LEAP model, LEAP. With the P, it's really called the PS&G model, but it's part of the LEAP process. And I'll tell you what all of this means. So the LEAP model has been around for 50 years. Bob Castellone created this for himself in his own practice. He was a professional baseball player and economist, and he thought he wanted to work on Wall Street and work with professional baseball players and other people. But what he learned was most people go through their financial life buying different things at different times from different people for different reasons. And they end up with what we would call the junk drawer method of financial planning. Some of us have that drawer in our kitchen. If you look at my basement right now, because of things that we're redoing, my basement, my rec room, that's my junk drawers, that whole room downstairs at the moment. But what we look for here in our financial lives is we want to be able to organize all the information that you gain from everywhere else and the things that you have. The moment that a client provides me that what's called their present plan, a completed financial questionnaire, then they're likely to be my client unless I do something to talk them out of it. The day that we see them, the snapshot of everything that they have, and I'll tell you what this says if you can't read the screen. We're recording this, so I'll make sure you can get it. By the way, Ron, I need to say this, and if you'll put it in the chat or follow up afterwards, if anyone wants the LEAP system after this, I'm not a salesperson for them, but if you come through me, you can get a 20% discount on it. If you're contracted with Penn Mutual as a career agent, you actually get it for free because Penn Mutual now owns that system. But I can get it for you for 20%. I don't get an override. It's just a discount for sharing it with other people. So this left side is telling us about you and your family situation. Family, your ages, your income, spouse's income. How do you earn income? We want to know, the amount for each person, and then how much of your income are you actually saving? We want to see our clients save at a minimum 15% of their gross earnings, and that's just to keep up with taxes, inflation, opportunity cost, some of the things that come erode your wealth. We also want to see you be able to protect your income at a minimum of 15 times gross income for economic life value. We work a lot you may also hear that called human life value. And we would like macroeconomically to see you create a 15% rate of return on all of the model. It's not necessarily a specific product, but the combination of products. What we see in the model also is the debt window. We want to see how are you handling your debt? How much do you have? What are the payments? How are you paying them off? Are you paying them off? We've learned over the last really over 30 years, but the software just caught up to it called Currents that allows us to be at the front of a client's checkbook as an advisor to help manage their income, to get away from budgeting and to operate on intentional spending and unconscious saving. And that fits real well right here in this box called a wealth coordination account. The top part is all protection components. There's 3 types of claims. There's liability claims. That's where you can lose your money due to lawsuits. There are health claims. That's where you can lose your money due to a health claim for disability, for critical illness, terminal illness, long-term care, Social Security benefits. There are life claims. These are wills and trust documents, ownership arrangements, and life insurance. This is like first gear, second gear, third gear. As you move down the model, you're moving into a more efficient, more powerful position. This next section is savings, and the last section is growth. These are the 27 areas where you can park money, place money. Everything that has to do with financial life is right here. The top part is all about protection as a moat, and these top 15 drawers are all about defense. The bottom half, retirement plans, tax-frees, bonds, appreciating assets, stocks, mutual funds, real estate, businesses, collectibles. That's all offense. Now we're in March Madness right now in basketball. They'll tell you, you'll hear it over and over and over again. Defense wins championships. You cannot earn a high enough interest rate to outperform a bad defense on your financial life. If you have gaps and holes and risk in your financial life, if you get sued, you may lose the ability to continue to invest because your assets may be garnished, your income may be garnished. They may come after these exposed assets in the event of a lawsuit. They may put a lien against your house to protect you from getting to your equity. So we want to make sure that there's this parallel path, that as your assets grow, that your protection is the same. All of us, I'm going to flip over the back of this page. Let's do it on. Yeah, we'll use this. So all of us have what's called an exponential curve. I'll show this in math in a moment. This is today, and this is the end of life. And this is money. If you look at compounding curves, if this is 50 years of time, from the time you start working and saving money until the end of life, what you'll notice is these last 5 years are twice the amount of the previous compounding years. Of all of those years combined, these last 5 would double the performance of all that before. And everyone has an exponential curve, but we have all of these things that are fired at us. Call these rockets. By the way, anytime I use a red pen here, it's going to be something bad. So what's fired at us? Taxes, fees for managing our money, inflation, disability, divorce, premature death. Longevity is actually a risk. Increased taxes. I can name about 15 or 16 risks. So no one is guaranteed that their money or their life will reach that last part. And so the LEAP process, which stands for lifetime economic, this next word's real important, acceleration process, was created to be able to protect people from these losses and recover the losses so that they could accelerate its performance back into your financial life. So we use a model and worksheet to be able to do that. What I showed you here, when it has the full picture of everything, look at my artwork. Isn't that great? What we showed you there was what's called a present plan.